Happy Halloween. Welcome back to Irish Media Network. I'm Aiden McCrae.
And I'm Carter Harris. On this chilling Friday morning, we will be telling you some haunting stories that will fright you to your very core.
From forgotten ghost towns to ancient myths, these stories have haunted man for centuries.
We'll be right back after this short break.
You are looking live from Knoxville, Tennessee. Hello and welcome to the Irish Media
Hi
Network.
there, welcome to The First Down, brought to you by the Irish Media Network.
In May of 2021, an eerie sight had disturbingly greeted the residents of Lake Rosia, an underwater village. Nobody knows where this village came from, but they sure are alarmed. The village was found at the bottom of Lake Rosia, an artificial lake located near the borders of Austria and Switzerland. Lake Rosia was a popular tourist and hiking destination during the summer and winter months. When seasonal freezing occurred in the winter, visitors were allowed to venture out onto the lake. In 1950, the village of Curon was a thriving residence to hundreds of Italians. That was before the village was intentionally flooded to make way for a nearby hydroelectric plant. About 71 years later, when repairs forced a team to temporarily drain the lake, the remains of the forgotten village of Curon, a modern-day Atlantis, appeared out of nowhere. A steeple could be seen emerging from the turquoise waters. Locals who once visited the site for the lake now come to walk the bottoms of the lake to see the ruins. No home survived the flood, but the abnormal remains of old steps, cellars, and walls that had spent decades on the lake bed were suddenly visible. This mysterious village has instilled fear in the residents about what actually occurs under their crystal clear lake. Now we have a special guest bringing in treats for us. What a spooky broadcast so far. It sends chills down my spine.
I agree. Some of these stories are really making me want to get my teddy bear.
Well, good news for you, Carter. We have a special segment planned. I've gathered 5 different candies for you to try, and you're going to guess what they are.
That's easy. I'm a candy connoisseur.
Well, let's put that to the test.
All right. So I guess I'll close my eyes. Okay, that's Milky Way. That's Milky Way. That's the candy there.
What made you think of that, Carter?
Well, it has this I don't know if it's caramel, but it's this undertaste to it on the bottom of the candy that I'm very distinctly remember. Okay, that's Three Musketeers. I say that because it takes less time to eat it, and it just goes down much quicker, and it's a little sweeter than Milky Way. This is a hard one. However, I gotta go with my gut and say right Twix on that. It's gotta be right Twix. Okay, that's the Snickers. I'm pretty sure. Snickers just has this really recognizable crunchy taste to it. And there's the left, did I say right Twix or left Twix?
You have already used right Twix.
Right Twix? Okay, then I'll have to lock in left Twix here.
3 out of 5, Carter. That is not the candy connoisseur that I was expecting.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, was it my mistake on right and left Twix?
That is a debate that a candy connoisseur should know.
Okay, well, if you think it's so important, then I'd like to see you try it.
Maybe we can do that next segment.
All right, that sounds good.
We hope y'all enjoyed our little taste test, but things are about to get a lot scary. Recently, a camcorder was found at the site of 2 young men's disappearance. Younger audiences may want to avert their eyes, as the footage is quite disturbing.
We're heading over to Greenville, Tennessee right now. Currently, it's a really spooky haunted house / corn maze. Now, honestly, I'm not one easy scared, but I'd be happy to see what it has in store.
I would absolutely say that it will certainly be a pretty interesting experience. So we will see what occurs later this evening. It's working out. Are you ready?
Holy moly, look out. Yeah.
Oh, I want to
Give
take
it
your
a
skin
second.
off and wear it like a coat. Give me your skin.
Right behind me, dude, go!
Jacob and Mason are currently missing. As you can see, they have missing posters up here. If you need to go look for them, we would really appreciate that. Head on down to Screamville as well. It's going to be a great time. There's lots of fun and lots of frights there. Thank you, Jacob and Mason, for that wonderful, scary video. On a more serious note, recently a 12-year-old boy suffered a fatal fall off of a hayride that shocked the witnesses and officials on scene. The ride was known as a haunted hayride, which consisted of a tractor that pulled riders through a bushy area which was supposed to be scary. The boy, known as Samuel Jessen, was with a group of other boys his age who decided to try and scare the riders by crossing a barrier to get onto the ride path and jumping out at them. Samuel jumped out, seemingly trying to get onto the ride, when he slipped and fell under the tires as the witnesses screamed at the driver to stop. Once officials arrived at the scene, they questioned witnesses who said that they did their best to get help immediately. The medical personnel did as much as they could before the boy tragically died from his injuries. Our prayers go out to Samuel Jessen's friends and family, and we here at Irish Nation will be praying for him as well. Now on to a production about people's scariest stories.
When I was in high school, here in Knoxville Catholic High School, me and my friends decided to go see a scary movie, and we sat in the theater. We sat really high up because we like to be near the top row, and we're kind of in the middle of the theater, and I'm watching this movie, and all of a sudden in my peripheral vision, I see somebody stand up in the audience, but they just keep standing up until they get way too tall, and I look over and nothing is there. And I kind of just brush it off. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I just saw something. I don't know. But as we're leaving, Sienna says, did anybody else see a guy stand up really, really tall? And I said, we don't sleep. We keep each other up all night because we are so scared. We sleep over, and then sleep deprived us. We go home the next day. All of our friends were like, oh no, you just saw a shadow on the wall. And we were like, no, we saw a man. We saw a man. He was wearing a hat. It was like a black figure of a man wearing a hat. Fast forward 5 years. We are no longer living in Tennessee. And I'm on an app called Stumble Upon, and this app would just bring up things that you were interested in, and I had paranormal stuff selected as one of my interests. So I get to this article called The Hat Man, and it's a figure of a man wearing a black hat. And I immediately knew, I had forgotten all about this, but I immediately knew it was the guy that I saw all those years ago in the movie theater. If you see him once, you're a lot more likely to see him again. So I call Sienna immediately. Again, she is living in New York, and I said, Sienna, I just sent you an article. I need you to read it. This is what we saw in the movie theater 5 years ago. And she said, Bridget, I was just about to call you because I saw him again.
It was a dark and stormy night. Me and my friend were at the grocery store. My parents were paying for the supplies, and me and my friend decided to go out of the grocery store. We looked out and we saw this man dancing to this horror film-esque music, but it was as if he was possessed, like he had never danced in his life. He didn't know what he was doing. And we both looked at each other and decided our best option was to run. As he came closer to us, we ran as fast as we could for our dear lives, hoping that we could escape him. And to this day, I never go out of the supermarket alone. I'm still scared to see him.
Thank you guys. We'll be diving into the heart of Appalachian folklore. These are not just stories, these are tales of creatures that the native people have seen with their own eyes. First, the Skinwalker, a creature of shape-shifting and malice, said to be able to take the form of any animal, with the hunger for human flesh that chills the blood. Also known as the Yee-Naldlushi in Navajo culture, the Skinwalker is a type of harmful witch who can disguise themselves as an animal. They are often feared for their ability to harm humans. Next, let's dive into the mystery of the Mothman, a giant winged creature with eyes that burn like embers. Said to be a harbinger of doom, its appearance is a warning of impending tragedy. Mothman is a creature of Western folklore, described as a human with wings and red eyes. It is reportedly seen in the Point Pleasant area from November 15, 1966 to December 15, 1967. Many believe the sightings were a warning of impending tragedy as the Silver Bridge collapsed shortly after the last reported sighting. And finally, the White Lady, a ghostly figure draped in white who wanders the road seeking refuge for a past wrong. Her mournful cries echoing throughout the night, she is often seen by people who are mourning. With all these terrifying tales, make sure to be safe out there in the Appalachian Mountains.
That's all we have for today on Spooky Myths and Stories. And again, happy Halloween.
Make sure to follow us on all our socials.
And as always,
Go Irish!